No more challenges. Kung Fu without honor. It's just fighting.
3 tigers, baby.
Oh, goodness, yeah. Let's go. That's right. How's that taste, old man?
Dad.
Yeah, buddy.
Do you know any Kung Fu?
I'm retired.
Who's the old guy?
That was our teacher. We called him Sifu.
You didn't hear? Sifu's dead. Something's not right.
That was no heart attack.
Do you think the poison fingers is real?
Yep, 教授，乜嘢都清楚。
Okay, just say it in English.
Just say it
do
in English, man.
When the hands cross, all will be revealed.
Did he hit me?
No, it's just a glance, man.
fine,
You got this.
It's fine.
Okay, look, Sifu could have set anyone off.
Time catches up to some people. Like you, the great 3 tigers.
We all swore together that we would defend the weak. Out there is a very, very bad man.
Where can we find this guy?
Okay, go.
Go. I know. Hold on.
What are you doing a 3-pointer? Just you it.
3 tigers back again.
Does everything have to be a fight with you?
We might be a disgrace. But Sifu had only 3 disciples. I swear to be loyal to my brothers. To the very day I die.
If you guys looking for a, 4th tiger, I take karate. Let me know.
What's up, guys? Rolling with Ronin. It's your boy DJ J-Ronin on All Elements TV, and I have a very, very special interview here today. We have Bao Tran, the director of The Paper Tigers, and Alan Duong, one of the producers. Correct?
Correct.
Yes. And I had the honor of seeing the movie in person at the Village East in New York City. And it's an amazing film. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but it's got a lot of heart, great action. It felt very real to me I'm coming to middle age and I'm overweight. I could relate to Ron's character a lot. It was, doing a 2-hour class when you're 100 pounds overweight. He was talking about being 68 pounds overweight. Try being 120 pounds overweight and flipping and rolling. But I loved it as a movie buff, as a martial artist. The acting is great, and it's an independent film, and we got to support great indie flicks. There's not enough voices from the Asian American community in film, and I think that's very important as well. Pretty much every good martial arts comedy I've ever seen has been, the Kung Fu Hustles, the Jackie Chan movies. That one movie, I can't remember the name. It was not the one. With the hand, you know what I'm talking about. Oh man, let's not even go there. All right.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys.
What up, J-Ronin? Thanks for having us.
Thank you. So, quick question. I heard of some of the struggles as far as getting the finances together and dealing with different movie studios. Can you talk about some of the whitewashing experiences you had as far as them trying to have certain cast members be white? I heard Bruce Willis, Nicolas Cage. That would have been so terrible. Oh.
Yeah. Well, I'll let Alan tell you all the tea on the meetings, but for the movie that we kind of wanted to make was we're based out of here in Seattle,
Right.
Washington, and the story is kind of based, kind of a tribute to our history here, especially with Bruce Lee first coming to the U.S. He laid down his digs here in Seattle, met his wife here, opened his kung fu school here, went to the university, and basically kind of had his formative years, you know, his late teenage rumble years, if you will, up here in Seattle. And his first group of students were very diverse. You know, they're Black American, Filipino American, Mexican American, Native American, white American, and so on. And, you know, much to the consternation of the Chinatown elders, but, you know, he did his thing and he taught, you know, all these different folks from different strokes, and they continue to teach to this day. So we feel that, you know, shadow and influence of Bruce here. And that's a reflection of us growing up doing martial arts with our classmates. You know, we were people of many colors as well. So that was a story and an experience that we always felt was real. And so making the story and creating, you know, characters around that felt like it was just a natural thing. It never felt like we wanted to do it one race or the other in any means. So when you see the movie, you understand. But Hollywood obviously had some different ideas.
Right. Question: what kind of martial arts did you train in as a kid? I watched a couple of your interviews.
Yeah, I did Taekwondo earlier on because I was a couch potato. I honestly, you know, kind of went into it kicking and scratching. I didn't really want to do it, but I fell in love, and I moved into Kung Fu. A lot of Bruce Lee influence of Kung Fu, and like a lot of now I do old man stuff, you know, Tai Chi and stuff like that, just to kind of keep my body moving at the very least. You know, I don't need to be hitting anything, or things will be hitting me harder.
Right.
That's kind of where I roll right now.
I grew up doing hard karate and jujitsu, but I've done some kung fu, and you know, I love it. You know, it's definitely it keeps you going.
For sure.
I was reading about how the Seattle community, really the Asian community in Seattle, just had your back so much. Can you talk about how that was as far as the hotels, the restaurants?
I mean, yeah, it's sort of, you know, kind of links up to kind of the story that you already mentioned, where, you know, like the studios, you know, they didn't want, you know, our movie, you know, they wanted to change everything, kind of the whole things you've already heard, you know, the options of having like a Bruce Willis or someone come in, swap out a character, just to make it more profitable. And for us, it just didn't make sense. And really, you know, the community were the ones that, you know, came out and really, you know, basically lifted this project off of the ground. You know, like it, you know, if you go all the way back to 2018 when we did our Kickstarter, we raised over $124,000, and that's, you know, props to the Asian American community out there in entertainment, but then also friends, family, and just, you know, Kung Fu fans in general. You know what I mean? Like this, you know, like we do have the Asian American label, but, you know, as you know, Kung Fu is universal, right? Martial arts is universal. Brotherhood, family, honor, like all of those things are universal. And so we connected with a lot of people, and the, you know, community in Seattle came out and you know, showed major support for the film, and you know, restaurants came out and supported us, and, you know, giving us locations to film certain parts, and then like fed us, and even like gave like apartments for, you know, some crew members to live in during shooting. I mean, there's a long list of things, and especially like if you remember in the movie, you know, we had a kung fu school, and that was all custom made. That was actually a dance studio that had like a huge a wall mirror and stuff, and so, like, you know, we had to build out like a fake wall to cover it. We had to fit it with a bunch of martial arts weapons, and so local kung fu schools came out and not donated, but let us borrow these weapons, and so
and everything, right?
Exactly. And so again, you know, that's just, you know, a testament of, you know, like what a community can do for a small indie film like ours.
I gotta say, Matthew Page was the great douchebag in the film. You know, I mean, of course, I'm familiar with Master Ken, and this is a whole nother level of douchebaggery. Just constantly speaking Chinese to Asian Americans, he was so annoying. You just wanted to punch him in the face.
Job well done. It
was great. What kind of martial arts movies did you guys grow up watching? What kind of films in general influenced you? as a filmmaker?
Yeah, for me, it was a hodgepodge. I grew up watching, Asian movies at home because our family would go to the Chinatown market and get the VHS tapes. So we'd watch, Hong Kong movies, all the stuff, Jet Li, Jackie Chan, Chow Yun Fat, Stephen Chow, and, TVB series, which was like those long, 30 episode, 40 episode TV series. A lot of stuff was like the Wu Shaw, Louis Cha type of stuff that was, being made at that time. So I kind of devoured all that, as well as Japanese Chambara films and so on. And then meanwhile, when you go out, you go out and see Hollywood movies, Spielberg and Cameron and all that stuff, and I loved all of it. So it all felt like it was all like of a piece. Like I didn't feel like one was better than the other, but it felt like I could watch stuff that maybe people like couldn't quite access on the other side. Like some of my older generation wouldn't watch Hollywood movies, and then likewise, my white friends or my white American friends didn't know anything about Asian cinema, right? They just thought it was just Van Damme and Seagal at the time. I was like, that's a whole new world, bro. There's a whole new world out there. So it's interesting, kind of like being mixed, being in between those two. So I grew up watching all those types of stuff and being just influenced by that.
Right. How hard was it coming out as a filmmaker to your parents? I know when in the entertainment business, I'm a DJ, audio engineer. Telling them was hard. They want you to be you come from an immigrant family, or even if it's a few generations deep, they want you to be a doctor or a lawyer. They don't want you
for sure.
in the business,
For sure. Well, we came from, our circumstance was from war. So a lot of Asian Americans have different experience. But for us, as Vietnamese American, it was from war and kind of fleeing and survival. So it's very much that type of mentality of just like get something that you can put food on your family's table and be able to get by another day. So, understanding where that came from, I understand. I have empathy for kind of the whole thinking behind that. But for me, I'm kind of the black sheep. I didn't have, no one had film experience or show business experience. I was the one that just fell in love with movies and just wanted to do it. So it was kind of a difficult thing for them to kind of understand at first. Also, they didn't know how to help. I think also it's not just like, don't do this. It's just like, well, if you're gonna do this, how do we help? Like there's a lot of helplessness around that. So that's kind of the challenge around trying to do something new and trying to do something different. But hopefully, we can do this and be an example for others that's possible.
I mean, I think you did it. The film is amazing. You deserve everything. I'm trying to push it to everybody in the hip hop community, the martial arts community, and just anybody that's in my circle, my family. I'm trying to get everyone to see it. It's worthy of all the praise. You guys are amazing. I don't know how you did it, and it's like.
But in a weird way, this movie it's a tribute back to our family, our parents, our teachers, and all of it. It's like we were expressing that thank you in art. And I think that's what people can see, and that we're grateful that people can appreciate that, because it's not just martial arts, but it is that, but it's also other things about family and honor and all this stuff.
It's much deeper than martial arts. That's just the avenue that you took.
Yeah.
What was it like working with Yuji Okamoto? I'm a big fan of Karate Kid and Cobra Kai, and I thought it was hilarious when you said, "Oh, I could, if you need a fourth tiger, I study a little karate," and I'm like, "Oh man," that was a great line.
Alan, you want to take that one?
Working with him.
Oh yeah, no, it's Yuji has been like a big brother to us. I mean, we've been working with him since 2009. And so and since then, we've been working with him on like different shorts in the past, and then and it was just a no-brainer to kind of bring him on board because of his wealth of knowledge of like being a veteran in Hollywood and stuff like that. So he's been that anchor in the group to kind of teach us the ins and outs of Hollywood and so but like it's funny because we work with him for so long, like it's Yuji as producer, and then all of a sudden sometimes you see him in Cobra Kai, let's say, like it's sort of like, oh, like, oh yeah, I forget he is an actor, and so it's always amazing to see him in his element, and so putting him in the movie was pretty fun to watch as well. So but yeah, super humble man, and just has so much knowledge to pass on to us, and really has been that anchor.
Right. How did you pick the cast for the Three Tigers?
Ron Yuan, who plays Hing, came on pretty early because he was a friend of Yuji's, and again, kind of the whole Asian American acting community is pretty tight. The other two we were trying to figure out, with Danny and Jim was a tough thing to figure out, and so we had to go out to casting really to go find it. And Elaine Uy and Mikhail Shannon Jenkins, their tapes, stood out, and we had them for callbacks, and their callbacks stood out. It was just, it felt like it was a great fit for each of them individually. But with an indie film, you never know until you kind of throw them together and like they actually spend time. So they had only met maybe 4 or 5 weeks for the shoot, for the rehearsals, and that was kind of the like jumping into the deep end. But thankfully, they got along. They actually liked each other, and they were cool, and they hung out with each other after the show. Chemistry, yeah, exactly, and they hung out with each other after the shooting, and before, and went out to rehearse and blah blah on their own. So I mean, you couldn't have asked for anything more as far as that squad, and then that stuff shows up on screen just because they genuinely did like each other.
Right. Question: is there a chance you could possibly do a sequel? They have a school and healing acupuncture over here, and BJJ over here, Kung Fu over here.
Sounds like you already have a script.
Pitch it.
I mean, personally, I'd love to see it. That's.
Yeah.
I think it could be a success.
Super flattering. Yeah, I mean, we're getting a lot of that feedback, and it's very flattering. And it's just we've been so full like attention on just getting this release out and the word out, and trying to get this baby out before we can think about any other children at this point. Right. But yeah, I think that's definitely it's a world that I think a lot of people are interested in.
Right, definitely. One thing I wanted to talk about as well is how do you feel about what's going on with the hate against the Asian community and COVID and all the ignorance that Trump has put out there and the GOP? How has it affected you personally, and how has it affected things as far as the film and everything?
Yeah, big question. I think we're all related. I think if anything we learned coming out of this is that we're all connected, and what happens to one kind of happens to everyone. So nothing is in isolation. So that's, we can't help but have personal stories about this. Obviously, we shot this film about 2 years ago, and, we wrapped right before lockdown here in Washington State. So we were very much affected by that. Thankfully, we shot everything before we needed, and we had everything we needed, but we went into COVID lockdown, just working, in our little pod. So we're okay, but still, trying to manage post-production remotely and all that stuff was a bit of a bear to deal with. And then obviously now with the kind of latest racial tensions being escalated, it's something that I guess we now kind of takes a new tone. Now you kind of see the movie and some of the themes and the messages that are there kind of takes on a new tone than we could have ever imagined. But didn't show up out of nowhere. This stuff was brewing, and stuff has been out there, but now it's just maybe a little more brazen and open, for sure. So I think that's something that, if anything, that we can be that piece, at least number one, just to be able to give some piece of entertainment, because it's been a stressful year for everyone. If we can just be that kind of like nice, cool popcorn experience for y'all, and just be that, I think that's enough. Just to be that little bit of medicine, it's good. On top of that, with the stories and themes and the messages of the characters of standing up and standing up for yourself, standing up for the people you love, I think that's an important message as well. And I think that's just as timeless and pertinent to what's going on now than ever, for sure. And then the fact that we have to look out for each other. So if anything, if we see this movie and have that solidarity and have a stronger sense of togetherness, then I think, job well done for the movie. So yeah, I mean, that's obviously there's nothing that we could have ever anticipated. Right. So if the movie does that for people, then we're just so thankful.
Right. It was actually the first film I'd seen in theaters in about 14, 15 months. And
appreciate that, man.
Just a relief. People were filming other people. Hey, this is your first time back in the theater. It was like a big event. Like we're back. Like it's, it was a beautiful experience. And earlier that day, we'd actually had a rally at Brooklyn Borough Hall about martial artists uniting to stop hate against the Asian community. And they were all kind of martial artists, all different ethnic backgrounds. And they were teaching self-defense to people who needed it. And just that, and then the movie was an amazing day for me. And again, I fell in love with it. Is there anything that you want to say to the hip hop world that's tuning in, all the Wu-Tang fans and the hardcore hip hop heads?
Well, I think as much as shared history between all our cultures and musical cultures, we have so much to owe again from hip hop culture and Black American culture for sure, and also Kung Fu culture. Bruce Lee being kind of that center point for a lot of us. I think if you enjoy all the things we mentioned, hopefully you enjoy this movie. Come check it out and get something as far as a love letter to each other and for each other, and so solidarity.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. I don't want to hold you up. I know you have a busy press day. I appreciate you. Everybody, please watch the film. I didn't give you any spoilers. Rent it, buy it. See in the theaters and spread the good word.
Come to Blu-ray June 22nd.
Nice. And I'll put that in the email blast. Thank you.
For sure.
Right, DJ J-Ronin.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.